started out, I'm told by my mother that I sang before I talked. And with that came song parodies. The first song parody I ever did was apparently, I don't remember because I was like, a little itty bitty thing, was that I seemed to find it endlessly amusing to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Mooney. So if we want to back it all the way up, that's what we get. Now we can fast forward to, and then the Beatles happened. And then the 60s exploded with pop music. And then I read somewhere, probably in one of those millions of fan magazine rags that all of us were addicted to as sweet young things, that songwriters got a higher percentage of the royalties. I thought, hey, I can do that. I'm going to write a song. I can do that. So I did. And I wrote a few songs. And then it occurred to me, well, I better learn to play an instrument, because I could hear the whole thing in my head, but how do you communicate that if you don't have an instrument that's got the chords? So I got my little cheapy guitar and learned to play and started writing my songs, and discovered when I was invited to sing at the local high school's, talent show or something, and I was going to do one of my own songs. And the teacher freaked out because she said, that's not a song that a young person would write. That's the kind of song that a 47-year-old woman would write. And she wouldn't let me do my song. And this began my glorious history as a performing songwriter. Being told, no, you can't do that.
I get other people to record my song. I just don't make records very much. I like my old records so much that I don't think I can beat them. So I very infrequently record any of my own stuff. But like during that period of the Tremblers, I got lots of other people. I got Denise Williams recorded one of my songs. Debbie Boone recorded one of my songs. Lots of people have done, and I've worked with other people on their records like that. I've been on Elton John's records and all kinds of stuff.
Well, I've always written songs, but I never did anything with them, so it's not like you're interviewing a songwriter. You're interviewing a guy who writes songs, but is not a songwriter, because I've had a couple published, and I almost got a cut on, oddly enough, a gospel tune, but the way it is, I went down to Nashville briefly. I saw that Nashville was not for me as a place to live, and really it's hard to be successful down there without living there, because a lot of it is happenstance. You happen to be at the right place at the right time. So you got to be around all the time. But I happened to meet this guy who was heavy in the gospel field at one of my interviews, and he liked the song, and he and I reworked it, and we almost got a cut. But the thing is on the desk, and somebody comes in and he says, I got this new song. And then it vanishes. There's so much input constantly. So you have to be there constantly reminding them and pushing the songs. And I didn't have the drive. I think I lacked a little bit of genius. I had a lot of craft. I could write a song in any style. But I don't think I had a Paul Simon kind of genius to be a Paul Simon. And I didn't have the self-confidence to just hang around Nashville and get a cut here, a cut there.
I don't think there's if anybody tells you how to write a song, what they should start with is, here's how you make money. And nobody can tell you how to do that. Because if you write a song, it could be a fantastic song. Nobody ever hears it. It's meaningless. Don't write a song unless somebody's going to hear it. Lots of people think their songs are so precious, but they don't play them to anybody. So just their friends. And your friends wouldn't buy a record anyway. They'd want a free one. Everybody has a hit song inside them, you know that, but they just don't. There are millions of songs that have been recorded that would have sold millions of records, but no one ever hears them. The trick is, we were lucky. We had songs, and people played them on the radio. That's all it is. We made songs that we thought would get on the radio. So that's my recommendation to every songwriter is, does it sound like it's going to be a number one? Toss it. If it's not, because nobody cares anymore. Everybody's got a song. I'm sure if you went in this club tonight and you asked 20 people, play your best song that you've written, oh my God, because everybody's got a song in there. The world is full of music.
Well, there are three ways. There are pretty much three ways that a song arrives, and I'm not talking about the initiation of the thought, because certainly that, most of us are aware of the fact that when you look at credit for a song on a piece of sheet music, it says music and/or lyrics. I think there's a third category, and it doesn't always include a third person, but quite often it does, and that's concept. So, aside from the concept, which may have come from a third party, music arrives in three different forms. It either arrives simultaneously, a melody with a lyric, or it arrives as just a melody that you can't shake out of your head, or that you've found a little lick on a guitar and it seems like it suits, it ought to have some words to it, or it's a paragraph, or what do we call it, snippet. It's a snippet that you've written down and maybe you haven't looked at for a month or two. And you go, yeah, I should work on that. I should expand that. And I know that lots of times, I've talked to Tom Paxson about that, and that's the way he works too. He discovers old thoughts and says that their time is at hand.
I had a band. I wanted to write a Western swing feeling song because I had steel guitar and fiddle. Great musicians. I wanted to write something in that kind of vein with that kind of harmony, chord changes. And I have a friend who has been married 3 times, and after the third one, he's been about 10 years since his third divorce, and he's been doing the dating site thing, and every time it has the same result. And it ends up with the woman being angry pretty quickly. And he keeps saying, oh, they got angry. I said, you've been on hundreds of these dates now, and they all end the same. What's the common factor here? Him. And so he doesn't want to, accept that responsibility. So that was basically the idea of the song. Was it your past runs your life, and if you don't confront it and do something about it, figure it out, you're acting. You're not really acting from your own self-determination. You're having your past run your life. There ain't no future in the past. That's what Vince Gill said. No matter how hard I try, I can't get her out of my head. Tried to find new love, but they never last. No matter what trail they try to ride to my heart, I head them off at the pass. Checked out all the dating sites, and I've been fixed up by friends. It comes as no great surprise how it always ends. Most of them have the good sense to cut out real fast. But no matter what trail they try to ride to my heart, I head them off at the pass. the idea of writing in that style, and then it just came to me, you know. It just popped into my head the old cowboy movie line, "Let's head 'em off at the pass." So I worked very hard to enunciate the T, head 'em off at the past. And then the lyrics just came out. And it's in a format that they use a lot in Western swing, which is the same harmony, same chord pattern and lyrics that just elaborate on the story.
Generally speaking, songs show up. The song exists in space, and it decides who it wants to give birth to it. And the song decides what it wants to be. The problem, I think, for a lot of people who are songwriters is that they think they control the process, and they don't. The process actually controls us as creatives. And if you stand back and get out of the way, I mean, that's the hard part, is to, you know, leave your stuff outside the door and let the song process occur. You know, people who write books will tell you that their characters in those stories decide what they want to say and decide where the book is going to go. And, you know, J.K. Rowling has talked about this extensively, that Harry Potter showed up one day and then the story grew and she didn't even know where it was going to go. Well, songs are just little stories. They're, you know, little crunchy bite-sized bits of stories. And the songs decide what they want to do. You can say, well, today I'm going to write a song about blah, blah, blah. And unless you're Malvina Reynolds, who got up and wrote a song every day before breakfast, reputedly, most of us are not Malvina Reynolds. So for most songwriters, the song shows up.
A year older today, seems I've thrown my life away, 'cause here I am, 2 a.m. in this lonely bar, and of the ones who are left, you're the best by far. I'm okay by myself, don't really need anyone else, but someone warm to hold me close. Sure feel good about now, but for how much pain must my heart allow? Moment of truth, stay or go. Take a chance on a broken heart, or leave here alone. Hold on to my youth, or let it go. Both ways I cry, guess this is my moment of